Very good afternoon to one and all present here. On behalf of Department of Community Medicine, I warmly welcome all the participants for this webinar on qualitative research methods. At this outset, I take this opportunity to welcome our beloved Chairman Sir, Vice Chairman Sir for this webinar program. I wholeheartedly welcome our Dean Sir, respected Dean Sir, respected Vice Principal Madam, respected Medical Superintendent Sir, respected Deputy Medical Superintendent Sir, respected Controller of Examination, Dr. D. M. Subramanian Sir, and Academic Director, Dr. G. Venkateswara Sir. Welcome you all, Sir and Madam. And I also welcome all the faculties from Annapurna Medical College and Hospital and other faculties from various other institutes to this webinar program. I also welcome all the students, both the undergraduate and postgraduate students, to witness this particular webinar program and enlighten this opportunity to use this research career. I welcome you all. Now I request our Vice Principal Madam to inaugurate this webinar program.
Morning to one and all present on this webinar by the Department of Community Medicine, Annapurna Medical College and Hospital on qualitative research methods. I welcome one and all, and especially our guest speaker, Dr. Balaji, who is the Professor and HOD, Department of Community Medicine from Indira Medical College, Tiruvallur District, Salem. Welcome you, sir, and we thank you also for accepting our invitation during this short notice to deliver a speech on qualitative research. Hope this enlightens all of us on qualitative research, because research is a very vast topic, and most of us as medical teachers, we don't know much about research. So hope your lecture or your webinar will throw light on various aspects of qualitative research, which will be useful for every one of us. So I wish everyone a happy learning on this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam, for your kind words and encouragement. Now I request Dr. Priyadarshini, Associate Professor of Community Medicine, to introduce today's guest speaker.
Good afternoon to one and all. It's my immense pleasure to introduce our guest speaker, Professor Dr. Balaji Arumugam, who is the Professor and Head of the Department in the Department of Community Medicine at Indira Medical College, who is having vast teaching experience for over 18 years. He has graduated his MBBS at Government Mohan Kumar Mangal Medical College in the year 1996. He did his MD Community Medicine at Madras Medical College in the year April 2005. He also did Diploma in Industrial Health at Annamalai University. His public health work has been recognized by various agencies, and he has received many awards. He received Outstanding Scientist Award in the field of medicine for over 100 research papers, and also he published 7 books so far. He had been the first author and guide of the National Award-winning research paper presentation at 47th Annual National IAPSM Conference, which was held in the year Jan 2020, and he received Parallel Sharma Memorial Award. He has received gold medal continuously for 2 years in 2018 and 2019 as reviewer at Association of Medical Education in Europe. He also designed and published validated selfie addiction scale at 2018. He also received IJR ULA Title Award in the year 2018 at Learning Center at Malaysia. He is also nominated for Central Government Award in the year 2020. He has published and presented many scientific papers in various national and international forums. He also guided many postgraduate students in their research work, and he authored, edited, and published 6 postgraduate preparation books. He has also been the resource person for various programs, for example, Concept, Chennai, Race, Positive, and in various PG coaching programs. He has also conducted and organized various workshops, seminar, symposium, which includes CHARM 2013 and basic course workshop in medical education technologies. Let me invite today's guest speaker, Dr. Balaji Arumugam, who is going to enlighten us on qualitative research methods. We welcome you, sir.
Before going to that, I wholeheartedly welcome our Medical Superintendent, Dr. Mohan Sir, to this webinar program, and I also request Dr. Mohan Sir to felicitate this program.
Good morning to all. It's qualitative qualitative research method conducted by our community medicine HOD and other faculties. I congratulate them and dean and our honorable chairman and vice principal and chairperson and all the other dignitaries and especially the community medicine department. This quantitative research method is very useful for both our all the faculties and research scholars and even our students. Dr. Balaji, thank you, Dr. Balaji. So I will welcome Balaji. He's a very
Medical college student.
Okay, okay.
So many years later, sir.
ஆமாப்பா ஆமாப்பா
அவங்க பக்கத்துல இருக்கவங்க எனக்கு ஜூனியர் சார் அவங்க.
அப்படியா அப்படியா ரொம்ப சந்தோஷம். ரொம்ப நாள் கழிச்சு உன்னை பாக்குறேன். என்ன அடையாளம் தெரியுது அதே மாதிரி இருக்கிறேன்னா இல்ல
அப்படியே இருக்கீங்க சார்.
ஓகே ரொம்ப தேங்க்ஸ் பாலாஜி ஃபார் யுவர் pleasing words. You are my student. Okay. Very much eager to listen your lectures. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Now over to Dr. Balaji to impart some knowledge about the qualitative research method. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, start. Balaji.
Sir, a very good afternoon to one and all. At the outset, I would like to thank this the entire management, our Dean sir, MS sir, Dr. Somsundaram sir, every one of you for giving me this such a wonderful opportunity. I think previously, 4 months before, I think I was when I was working in Taugumalika, I gave a lecture on the research methodology topic, and this is the second opportunity given by Dr. Somsundaram sir. Thank you for inviting me for giving this lecture on qualitative health research. So, shall I proceed with the slide sharing, sir? Am I audible? Am I audible, madam? Am I audible? Shall I proceed with slide sharing?
Camera clarity is somewhat less.
Camera clarity is a problem, sir. I know that the camera is some problem in my laptop. So sorry for that, actually.
Okay, no problem. Continue, Balaji.
Sir, can you see the PowerPoint? Shall I proceed with the presentation?
Yes, sir. You have to go for slideshow, sir.
Yes, madam, I'll go to the slideshow. Fine, sure. So can you make out the slideshow, madam? Yes, so let us start.
Hi.
Sir.
Very well.
Yes, sir. So let us start with the presentation on qualitative research methods and the analysis. As all the participants, I welcome all the participants for the presentation for this today's learning session. This qualitative research is a little bit different ball game compared to a quantitative research. As we all know, the quantitative research deals with various study designs like case control studies, cohort studies, all those study designs come under quantitative research methods. Now, today we are, as I have told you, it's a different ball game, qualitative research methods and their research methods and the analysis that I'm going to discuss in this next 40 minutes of my presentation. So the learning objectives of this today's session is the participants at the end of the presentation should be able to define what is qualitative research and quantitative research, and to differentiate between qualitative and quantitative research studies, that describe the qualitative study designs and the characteristics, features of this qualitative research study designs, and to describe the qualitative research data collection methods. There are different data collection methods exist in qualitative research, and what are the analytical methods, especially the data analytical methods in qualitative research. So this is the learning objective of this session. So to define qualitative quantitative research, to differentiate and to describe the various study designs and characteristics, to describe the qualitative research data collection methods, and to discuss the analytical methods also. So this next 45 minutes, I'm going to present only the bird's eye view of this entire qualitative research study design. Okay, so it's a very vast topic. Quantitative research, this qualitative research is a very, very vast topic, little tougher area also to understand. I try to make it as simple as possible. As the audience, when some of the questions are posted in the chat box, please respond to the answers when you see the questions in the PowerPoint. Okay, right? I'll be checking out the chat box in between. So to move on to the next slide, this is the first slide. Just to trigger the audience interest, which image represents the qualitative research? Is this the number 1 or number 2? I'll be expecting the answers in the chat box. I'll be verifying the answers in the chat box. Kindly, participants, please respond to the answers. Yes, I could see some of the answers. Number 2, number 2, number 2. So which image? So what made you to think that this is number 2 is a qualitative? What made you to think this is number 2 is a qualitative? And number 1 is quantitative. Similarly, there is another slide, next slide. Which slide or which image represents the quantitative study design? Yes, seeing a lot of answers in chat box. Yes, yes. Which one? Is this one or this one? So the quantitative is related to this pie chart image. So these two images indirectly represents the definition of qualitative and quantitative study designs. Okay, right? See, the qualitative study design means, or the meaning or the definition of this qualitative research is nothing but it comes from the word quality, meaning the research method analyzes the quality of certain values but not the counts. Okay, but in quantitative research, the word itself is coming from the word, the quantitative research is nothing but quantity, meaning this research method analyzes the values which you can count or measurable. Okay, right? So simplified as quantitative research deals with measurable data, qualitative research deals with non-measurable data like language, verbs, audio recorded messages, sentences, and all those things, right? So quantitative analysis. So if you are dealing with numerical data, so quantitative analysis is assessed by means of mathematical or statistical modeling. It uses the data measurement and comparison to illustrate the given data with the numerical value. And qualitative analysis is an assessment or which assesses by means of inquiry or an observation, right? Just for your relaxation, I have just put some of the GIFs message. See, look at how he is observing. Mr. Bean is observing, right? See, observation is very, very important in this qualitative analysis or qualitative research. So it investigates all the data like interviews, focus group discussions, free written feedbacks, written documents, audio tape record forms or whatever. So that cannot be counted. So the data analysis deals with non-numerical data, that is qualitative analysis. We have various qualitative analytical methods that we are going to discuss in further slides. Yeah, this is an MCQ for the participants. Please, participants, do read the question carefully. I am giving 5 seconds or 10 seconds time for you guys to answer this question. Number 1 is quantitative research, referred to as the process of collecting as well as analyzing numerical data. Qualitative research is generally used to measure the patterns, averages, predictions, as well as cause and effect relationship between the variables being studied. So among 5 choices, both 1 and 2 are correct. 1 is correct, 2 is wrong. And C says that both 1 and 2 are false. And D's choice says that 2 is correct and 1 is wrong. May I get the answer from the students, from the participants? Yes. I could see some of the answers. B. Expecting more responses from the participants. Kindly participate. Try to answer yes, B. So what is B? 1 is correct and 2 is wrong. Yes. So number 1 is the definition of quantitative research, which deals with process of collecting and as well as especially analyzing the numerical data. But number 2, that is qualitative research, generally used to find the patterns. It is not the qualitative research, it is the quantitative research. So both 1 and 2 here, it is related to quantitative research. Okay, right? So moving on to the next slide. So the qualitative research or quantitative research, so the qualitative approach is called as inductive approach. The approach we call it as inductive approach. The quantitative research deals with deductive approach. And qualitative research, the main goal is to go in deep, and mainly it focuses on generating the hypothesis. And quantitative research mainly done for testing the hypothesis. It goes broadly, but qualitative research goes in depth to generating the hypothesis, right? And mostly the setting is natural setting in qualitative research, and here the setting is quantitative is mostly the experimental or the quasi-experimental. Okay, right? And sampling, what is the sampling method most commonly used in qualitative research is purposeful sampling, which is also called as non-probability sampling, and sampling which is adapted in quantitative research is random sampling method, which is probability sampling. And the data collection methods are mostly interview guides or interviews, in-depth interviews, observation, direct observation, or getting the feedback, or sometimes focus group discussion. These are all the data collection methods in. But in data collection methods in quantitative survey formats, questionnaire administration, getting the clinical data from the patients or getting the measurements from the patients, all these things. And the analytical approach, which is adapted in qualitative research, is iterative approach. Can anyone from the audience, can anyone tell me what is iterative approach? Especially data analysis in qualitative. And quantitative, here it says that statistical tests and modeling. Okay, what is iterative interpretation or what is iterative approach? Can anyone type the answer for iterative interpretation, which is a data analysis method, which actually we are going to discuss in further slides. Okay, let me move on to the further slides. So the data analysis methods, which is in qualitative research, is mostly iterative. Iterative is nothing but it is improvisation, editing, and especially improving the data that we collect. Data in the sense, what data that we mostly collect in iterative or in qualitative research, mainly in the form of audio and video tape, recorded sentences, feedbacks in the form of language, right? So analysis part is the most important and crucial step in qualitative research. So where we mostly adapt the iterative approach, right? I'll tell you the difference between inductive and deductive in the next slide. So what is deductive and what is inductive? First, I will start with inductive approach. Inductive approach, hope all of you are able to see the cursor of this presentation. So inductive approach, where a social phenomenon is being observed. So from that social phenomenon which is being observed, that is the data collected from the observation on the possible reasons or whatever may be the feedbacks or whatever, why that particular phenomenon is occurring and what is the trend. All these things are examined, and finally a theory is developed. A theory is developed from this data to explain the social phenomenon, which is called as inductive approach. A social phenomenon is observed, and from the observation you develop a theoretical model in inductive approach. But in deductive approach, where a theory is being developed to explain why it occurred, and the theory can be tested in deductive approach. So deductive approach is mostly done in quantitative research, and inductive approach is done in qualitative research. Okay, right? So I repeat this very, very important word, the difference between inductive and deductive. Inductive, where the social phenomenon is observed. From the social phenomenon or from the observation, you develop a theory. You try to give the explanation why it happened. Okay, but in deductive approach, a theory is being developed and the theoretical model is tested as a hypothesis in quantitative research, where we follow this deductive approach. Okay, right? So hope many of the participants know this GIF, right? So there is another name given for. So here in this movie, Bacha, Rajinikanth says that there is another name for me. So just for making the audience to participate, there is another name given for qualitative and quantitative research. What are the other names? Anybody from the audience could give the answers in the chat box. I'm eagerly waiting to see the answers from the chat box. Is there, what is the other name given for qualitative and quantitative research? More than 200 participants are there in the webinar currently. I'm expecting at least 1 or 2 participants to answer at least what is the, or what are the other names given for qualitative and quantitative research. Here we have seen the different approaches, deductive and inductive approach. Approach is different. There is other name given for qualitative and quantitative research. Because I'm not getting any answers from the audience, I'll move on to the slide. So here the quantitative research is also called as positivism, and the qualitative research is also called as interpretivism. Okay, right? So where positivism is nothing but the quantitative methods deals with larger samples, mainly focused on testing the hypothesis. It produces precise objective quantitative data. As I said, it is a quantitative data, means it is quantitative research. Okay, and it produces results with high reliability. Sometimes with low validity, right? And sometimes we can generalize the findings of the study to the population. But here in interpretivism is nothing but where the researcher interpret the findings from the, especially from the data obtained from the focus group discussion or from interview methods or in-depth interview methods, may done a natural selection, natural location, naturally process hypothesis, and also it produces a rich subjective qualitative data. So the interpretivism is nothing but a qualitative research. So qualitative research can produce rich subjective qualitative data, but the important thing is which has got more validity in the sense this makes the difference between a commercial movie or a award film movie. Award film movies, as most of you have watched this JB movie, which has been released in many languages recently. The movie has a great success, as many of you are knowing about this Prime level. It has got the maximum score, even more than the score from some of the international foreign movies. So the point why I'm discussing this here is the movie is very close to the nature, or very close to the, it has given the rich subjective information about the people, especially those who have suffered. So which was the main crux of the movie. So the findings, whatever that we get in from qualitative research, which will be more valid. Sometimes it lacks reliability, right? So because it is not reliable, you cannot generalize the findings to the total population, but it can be generalized only to similar setting population. Okay, so I repeat this: the difference between qualitative and quantitative is nothing but, so quantitative is otherwise called as positivism. The approach what we adapt in quantitative research is called as positivism. The approach what we mainly, especially the analytical approach, what we approach or what we adapt in qualitative research is interpretivism. Okay, right? So positivist deals with positivist in the sense person who is doing a quantitative research deals with numbers, facts. But interpretivist, the person who is performing, or the researcher who is performing the qualitative research, beliefs, mainly talks about the beliefs, perceptions, ideas, opinions. Okay, right? Hope all of you are aware about this particular GIF of Superstar Rajinikanth. So just for fun. I have just added this GIF. So it is related to numbers, and this side it is related to beliefs, perceptions, or opinion. Okay, right? So now we are moving on to the second and third objective of this today's presentation. So scientists, as you all know, they are more comfortable because we can easily measure the data, do some statistical analysis, give some extrapolatory findings or generalize the findings to the general population or other population, so that we can complete the testing of the hypothesis with the statistical modeling. Okay, right? But here in quantitative research, you can answer the questions by help of asking these questions like how often, to what extent, how much, how many. These things are easily measurable. But the qualitative research answers the questions on why people behave the way they do, how opinions change, or what are their opinions, what are the attitudes, how these attitudes are being formed, and how people are affected by some of the events, right? And how and why cultures have developed, and the difference between the various social groups. Okay, don't worry, audience. I'll be discussing many examples and research studies designs in further slides for qualitative research. Okay, right? So qualitative research mostly deals with verbatims, language, sentences, experiences, opinions, attitude, all these things which cannot be measured, you can only obtain by directly talking to the people. Okay, by in-depth interviews or by focus group discussions or direct observations. Okay, right? So moving on to the next slide, these are all some of the examples of qualitative research, right? So an insight of HIV/AIDS patients' perspective on disease and disclosure. Suddenly a patient, a person who is diagnosed as HIV and HIV/AIDS, right? How he reacts, what he feels about the disease when he is being disclosed that you are having HIV positive. அப்படின்னு சொல்லும்போது how the person reacts, what is his perspective, what are his opinions, how he feels about himself. So this can be explained only by individual experience. Okay, right? So this can be expressed by qualitative research. Okay, right? So this entire experience or the feelings of the individual can be studied. That study you can call it as a case study. So case report is different from case studies. Case study is one of the study design adapted in qualitative research. Okay, and similarly HIV testing and counseling experiences by a social worker. See, first example is on the patient side, and the second example is a study on HIV testing and counseling experience by the social worker. How the social worker, how his psychologically is affected or how he feels about when he is giving the counseling to a HIV patient, right? And similarly, on some of the examples, like women's views on medical confidentiality. See, all these things can be expressed by words or sentences, right? So this is the some of the example for qualitative research. So what are the characteristics? As I told you, this is the second and third objective. So what are the characteristics of qualitative research? So qualitative research deals with non-numerical data. It is being done in a natural location, right? And mainly it adapts a purposeful sampling where we cannot use probability sampling. Okay, right? So we have some characteristics of qualitative research at three levels: at the design level, at the data collection level, and also at the analysis level, right? So at the design level, we have three important characteristics which I have told you just now. It all expressed in different words, but the meaning, you know, but it's all going to give the same meaning only. Naturalistic inquiry. That means the design, that's the qualitative research design on the it lies as close to the nature as possible. That's why it's called as naturalistic inquiry, right? And usually the study designs are flexible. I'll tell you how much it is flexible in further example, right? So it emerges or emergent design flexibility. That is the design, the qualitative research design itself is modified as a flexible study design. And mostly it adapts the non-probability sampling, which I told you, purposeful sampling. Purposeful sampling now we select only the group of people or certain people, those who can answer, those who can respond, or those who underwent some event. So we can select as a sample for our study, right? That is purposeful sampling, right? And similarly at the data collection level, we have some of the characteristics like you are getting the personal experience, how the person is being engaged in a particular event. Say, for example, a person who is undergoing an accident, road traffic accident, right? So how that particular person felt when he landed up into the accident, right? So how his personal experience, right? So this can only be expressed in words, right? So this is also one of the case study example for qualitative research. So and other data collection levels examples are called characteristics, direct observations, in-depth inquiry, and researchers' mindfulness is very important in data collection level. And analytical level, we have two important characteristics: context sensitivity. As I've told you, whatever the data that we collect from the audience, it's all going to be a verbatims, languages, right? So it's the context is very sensitive to that particular individual, right? And it is subjected to purely subjective nature. Whatever the data that we collect is subjective in nature according to the participant, and sometimes it can also influence the researcher. So just an explanation about that. Decision strategies were naturalistic inquiry, studying real world situation as they unfold naturally, openness to whatever emerges, which is you don't usually manipulate, that is usually non-manipulating, right? These are all other words which is being expressed for natural inquiry, right? So emerging flexible, as I told you, openness to adapting inquiry as understanding deepens. When you go into the study as deeply as possible, sometimes the study design has to change according to the need of the study participant, according to the research question of the study design. Okay, and purposeful sampling, which I told you just now, that this slide has also explained just before. Personal experience, neutrality and mindfulness is also very important for both the participant as well as for the researcher. Yeah, inquiry in depth, right? See, we know ஒரே ஒரு விஷயத்தை, suppose one image or a particular event can be viewed in a different ways by different people, right? So it varies, right? So look at the subjective variation. See, the first person looks the tree as a whole, but the second person sees only the apple, and the third person sees how he or she can make money from this or whatever, right? So the context sensitivity, and also it is complete objectivity is being impossible in this qualitative research, right? So highly it is related to subjective change. Okay, right? So one open-ended question for the participant, because the qualitative research mostly deals with open-ended questions in in-depth interviews and focused discussions. So now the question for the participants. So almost for last 10 minutes, I'm alone talking. So I'm expecting the answers from the chat box. What are the characteristic features of qualitative research method? This is very, very important. For a break for a few seconds, I'll just wait for the answers to be coming in the chat box. Otherwise, it will be very boring for the participants just to listen the entire theoretical aspect again and again. So please respond to the question. What are the characteristic features of qualitative research methods? Maybe at the design level or at the data collection level, or whatever it means. I will wait for 10 seconds. If I don't get any answers from any of the participants, I'll move on to the further slides. Yes, good, 1%. Yes, iterative, improvising, naturalistic. Yes, some answers I'm getting. Thank you. Any other answers, please? We do purposive sampling. Yes, Dr. Subramaniam sir. Thank you for the answer. Any other answers, please? Yes, please. What are the characteristic features? We do purposive sampling. Non-manipulative, naturalistic. Very good. Rakshana. Inductive. Yes, it is. The approach is very inductive. Yes, that is also one of the important characteristic feature of qualitative research. It is inductive, highly inductive. What is inductive? Inductive is nothing but we observe a social phenomenon, and that social phenomenon is being expressed in terms of a theoretical model. Okay. Naturalistic inquiry. Yes. Thank you, Sujata. Any other answers, please? Thank you so much for some of the answers at least. Other participants, please try to type the answers in the chat box so that it will be very, maybe we'll try to make it a little interactive. Okay, right? Thank you for the answers given by the participants, some of the participants. I'll move on to the next slide, right? So now we are moving on to the very important aspect of this presentation. What are the study designs adapted in the qualitative research? Yes. Can anyone tell me the answer for what are the qualitative study designs? Yes, one of the answers, I got it. Objective, reality, and individual interpretation is wonderful. Any other answer? Case study is one of the study design. Yes, Dr. Nirmal. Any other answers? What are the, my question is on what are the study designs? Interview is a data collection method. FGD is also a data collection method. My question is, what are the study designs under qualitative research? So these are all the study designs. Okay, right? So 4 major, actually 6 to 8 major study types of qualitative research designs are there. So here I am going to discuss only the 4 study designs. Phenomenology. Many of you may be listening to these words. Maybe this is the first time that you guys may be listening to these study designs. So phenomenology, 4 major types of qualitative research. See, actually, until and unless I have done almost 15 years, I am there in this field research. Many things I have done, but qualitative research I have done so far only 2 or 3 research study designs I have done. So it is a little tougher area to enter inside. So after doing the study design only, I have qualitative research only I have experienced myself. It is almost similar to maybe little easy compared to quantitative also sometimes. Okay, provided if you follow the methodology properly, right? There are 4 major types of qualitative research. One is phenomenology, ethnography, grounded theory, and case study. Right? What is phenomenology? What is phenomenology? Like the study design that we adapt in quantitative research in the very first slide, which when I was telling you, like RCT, case control, cohort studies, various study designs in quantitative. Similarly, qualitative, we have 4 study designs, right? So phenomenology is nothing but it's an approach to research to describe the phenomenon by exploring it from the perspective of those who have experienced it, right? The participant, study participant, how they will experience the particular event, are they in detail explore the process and the phenomenon phenomenology, right? I'm going to tell you some of the example or many maybe journal articles which have been published on phenomenology. Shahid Khan, a researcher, he has done a research, qualitative research in phenomenology of abusive supervision among non-management workforce. As you all know, many people in abusive supervision, you know the meaning of the word abusive supervision. The supervisory staffs sometimes abuse the people, those who are working under them, right? So this Dr. Shahid Khan wanted to do a study how this abusive supervision is being done, or how done in the sense like not done, how it being operates, or how it affects the overall productivity, how it affects the individuals when they are working in the establishment, right? So he has done a study among 60 face-to-face in-depth interviews after assuring and confidentiality, getting the ethics committee approval among non-management workforce from especially two cultures, especially Australian-born and Pakistan-born workforce in an establishment. He has conducted 60 face-to-face in-depth interview by snowball sampling. Can anyone tell me what is snowball sampling? It is a type of purposive sampling. Can anyone tell me what is snowball sampling method? Snowball, I'll tell you various types of purposive sampling is one of the purposive sampling snowball sampling method, which we are going to discuss in further slides. So Shahid Khan has done a study on abusive supervision, right? What he has done after office hours in a non-working atmosphere, he has collected face-to-face interviews, in-depth, open-ended, semi-structured interviews lasted for 60 to 90 minutes. So all the interviews have been audio taped with permission from the participants, so as to preserve an accurate account of the interview, which could be replayed for analytical purpose, right? So record panni repeated the cake, yeah. So that is why it is being recorded, and after getting the application permission, right? Asking friends and known persons of subject, increase effect keeps growing with effort. Some of the answers given. Thank you. So after office hours, this work data collection has been done by this researcher. I'll tell you how after getting this interview data and audio tape data, how it is being analyzed. That we are going to discuss in further slides. We are running a little short of time. So the word ethnography, the second study design most commonly discussed or most commonly done in qualitative research is ethnography. Ethnograph, ethno means, it is given in the slide, ethnos meaning people, graph means writing, right? So writing about the people, it's also called as culture writing. So ethnography is nothing but the study of social interaction, behaviors and perceptions within a team or an organization or a community, right? So ethnographic studies typically gather the participant observation and interviews. Ethnographers can immerse themselves. This is a very, very important, where the researcher or the ethnographers lived experiences of these ethnographers. Rather, not only getting the participants' views or opinion, the researchers live within the setting among the group of people to assess their behaviors, how their interactions and social perceptions happen within the group, right? So it has time observational dimensions from space, acting, activity, and everything is there, even the goal and feeling of the entire group, right? Yes, this is an example. I will tell you an example for a ethnographic study design. The Scott Reeves et al. Published a study on in a United Kingdom. There is in a hospital in the United Kingdom. So the aim was to assess the hospital-based nurse-doctor relationship. Okay, right? The nature of hospital-based doctor-nurse relationship was the topic. So the nurse, the person who has done the study, undertook participant observations for 10 months, during which the nurse worked as one of the team member with doctors, nurses, and managers, and also auxiliary staffs on both surgical and medical ward. என்ன பண்ணிருக்காங்க பாருங்க, 10 months this author has lived with the people, this entire team. So the ethnographic study designs, qualitative research study designs, almost all study designs, it takes vast time, more data, more information you will be getting, right? So to gain a candid insight into these professionals' views, she undertook informal interviews and also 57 tape recorded interviews with lasting for 60 to 90, right? So this makes the difference between a phenomenology and ethnographic study. Ethnographic study, where the researcher literally lives along with a team to gain in-depth relationship, how would the organization works. Okay, right? Next is grounded theory. Grounded theory in mind, it's very simple. Grounded theory, the word itself says that the theory is being developed from the ground, which is development of new theory by collecting and analyzing the data about a particular process which is happening inside the group. Okay, right? It can be done by literature review or already existing documentary analysis. You can collect interviews and observations also. And the important key feature of grounded theory, constant comparative analysis. That means data collection and analysis both are done simultaneously. That is a very important aspect of grounded theory. This grounded theory was one of the study design which we have adapted in one of our study, which I am going to present here in the next slide. So in this example, grounded theory, the Stefani et al., they have done a study on compassionate care, how especially the doctors' perspective of people working with patients type 2 diabetes, right? So the semi-structured interviews and focus groups were conducted between some years among 36 participants. How it is being done? This is very, very important aspect. So 4 interviews were initially conducted. From the interview, they developed some early concepts. So after developing these concepts have been tested in first 2 focus group discussions. Then the interactive nature of the focus group discussion, it proved very useful. That has explored many further concepts. So from the concepts, they finally analyze the data. Further focus group discussion has been done, and finally they have given some of the results and analysis, and they published the information, right? So here they have done in grounded theory, where interview method has been adapted. Some interim analysis have been done. From the analysis, they have developed some of the concepts. Those concepts have been adapted for doing a focus group discussion. So it goes on and on like this way, right? So that is what we call it as grounded theory, where we do constant comparison and analysis, right? Simultaneous data collection and analysis, which is an important aspect of grounded theory. Okay, right? And similarly, case studies are sometimes qualitative, also quantitative, but here we are going to discuss under qualitative, in-depth analysis of a single case or single person or some of the units. That is what we call it as a case study. So it sometimes the complexity nature of the case study ranges from just the illustration of the event. It can go up to analysis of the social situation over a period. So there are so many types of case studies, starting from retrospective case studies. As we know, the name itself says that it is collection of data relating to the past phenomenon. Snapshot it is similar to cross-section studies where one particular period of time we will examine the event, and diachronic is nothing but a longitudinal study in quantitative, right? So we are talking about the sampling methods in qualitative research, non-probability sampling, as I said. So here the sample which gives detailed information, that means the person, those who are able to give the detailed information are being purposefully selected for doing the study, right? See, those who are knowing the information and those who underwent the event, we will be able to select as a study participant. Otherwise, on the event, when we choose all those people for studying this qualitative research, it will be a waste of time, right? So there is no point in discussing about this thing. Purposeful sampling is the one and only idea which can be adapted in qualitative research. A random sampling method is not possible. So there are some other types of non-probability sampling methods like judgment sampling, snowball sampling, and quota sampling, right? So snowball sampling is nothing but where the researcher, or study participant choose பண்ணுவீங்க. So those research participants will recruit the participants for your study through his network. That is what we call as a snowball sampling, right? And the sample size, sometimes see, for a case study, sometimes we need one person or one event. That is more than enough. Phenomenology is one of the studies which I told you just now. You can assess up to 10 people. If it reaches a saturation prior to assessing the 10 people, that can also be, suppose 8 people and you okay, the sample size calculation, like quantitative research, it is not 100% important for qualitative research, like calculation of sample size, because here we are adapting the non-probability sampling and the study designs varies, or the number of study participants varies according to the saturation level. Okay, right? I'll tell you some of the examples. Yes, these are the methods of collecting the qualitative data, especially the data collection method, which we have been talking so far. In-depth interviews and focus group discussions are the most common qualitative data methods, right? So where direct observations also can be done, and it is mostly the time consuming, right? Little bit about focus group discussion, my dear participants. So how to conduct the FGD, right? So actually this each and every slide is a separate presentation. In future, we can go for each and every slide as a separate presentation, because focus group discussion we can talk as an entire presentation for 1 hour or more than an hour. Okay, right? So how to conduct the focus group discussion? So as a moderator, you introduce a topic, obtain the informed consent to all the people, those who are interested in participating, and use a funnel approach, that is top-down approach. Stay on the track, handle the problems when sometimes the focus group discussion sometimes lands in some of the issues among the people, those who are there in the group, and close the discussion, right? So sometimes we need a moderator. Apart from moderator, we also may need a note taker. Equipment preparation is very much important for conducting a focus group discussion, right? This is my study which I want to discuss for a few minutes. Implementing the cost consciousness in medical curriculum, a qualitative grounded study design which we have done. It is for almost about to get published. It is on process for publication. So we have conducted in-depth interviews among 15 practicing physicians. Because why we stopped with 15, because the data saturation happened. In an interview over the review, when we went and asked the opinions about this cost consciousness, almost by 10 we have got almost a data saturation happened. So we stopped with 15 interviews. Then from the interview, as I told you, iterative approach, we have refined the interview talks or whatever the opinions obtained from the practicing physicians. We adapted the iterative approach to prepare the FGD guide. FGD means focus group discussion guide. So they all adapted, they all said that, see, we are all currently practicing. So it is better to have a group discussion or interview with a currently going to be a doctors, especially among the interns. So that opinion we have got from all the practicing physicians. So we have planned to conduct the focus group discussion. So the study design is very flexible, which I have told you, which is one of the important characteristic feature of the qualitative research. So initially we started with in-depth interviews, but later on, based on the opinions given by the faculties or the practicing physicians, we adapted the focus group discussion based on the guide which has been prepared by iterative approach among 8 interns. And after that, we have analyzed the data, and all these interviews and the focus group discussions have been transcribed into a verbatim, a framework analytical approach, which is also called as thematic analysis. See, so far we have discussed about what is qualitative research, what are the various study designs, and also various data collection methods. Next 3-4 slides will be discussing about the analysis. How are you going to analyze the qualitative data, right? Because you will be having huge volume of data, transcriptions, written formats, audio recorded, video recorded, the volume of data. How are you analyze that? Analytical, most common analytical method that is adapted in qualitative research is framework analytical approach, or is also called as thematic analysis, right? So how you are going to do the thematic analysis, right? So thematic analysis is nothing but the qualitative data or the information whatever that we obtain is converted into a coding. Coding na nama quantitative data la whatever that we do as a coding for giving some numbers and like it's not that coding. Here coding is nothing but, I'll tell you what is coding from after this completion of this slide. Okay, right? Identifying, familiarize with data. It is nothing but whatever the volume of data that you have obtained from the study participants. Read the contents repeatedly. You have to read the contents if you're having a notes or a transcription or whatever that verbatim language data. Yeah, either you have to read it repeatedly or listen to the audio and video repeatedly. So familiarize with the data. So when you listen to these informations or whatever the audio records, you will come to know common features would have been explained or which have been expressed by many of the study participants. So those common views or common opinions coding, right? So from those common opinions, there will be, when you identify this common coding, from those common coding, each coding on the codes on the it will be related to a theme, right? And then finalize and review each theme, and then you proceed with next process, that is thematic analysis, by putting a flow chart, which is called as thematic framework analysis method, right? So to repeat, this is very important slide. Just go through this points once again. Identify, familiarize yourself with the data, identify the coding, find out the themes from the codes which is being obtained from the data, finalize and review. Okay, right? This is an example, right? So you have three people, some name Eliza and Priya, and your interview notes and Sam, right? So these people, when they have given some opinion, their common opinions have been expressed in some of these 4 transcripts, right? All these 4 will form a code, and similarly, these things are written separately in a sheet, codes with a different color coding. Just for example, here it is being mentioned, you have a lot of softwares can be used for this coding analysis also. And these codes, see, yellow colors give some code, and similarly blue color gives some code. So each code will be, or multiple codes will be related to one particular theme, right? This is an example. See, for example, an HIV patient says that when my mother-in-law come to know, or when she came to know that she has HIV, she used all sorts of names to to insult that particular person, right? So she called me a woman of bad character, whatever, right? So the coding, whatever that is given as insult is the code, and the category we call it as stigmatizing behavior, right? So here multiple codes form a category. These or sometimes multiple codes will form subcategories. These subcategories will form categories, and these categories will be formed into the theme or the concept, right? This is how the analysis is being done. This is literally to say that if you are getting volumes of data from interviews and this thing, no, it will be little tough to handle initially. We especially this creation of the codes and creation of the themes, it will be tough. Okay, right? But once you become practice, the main important thing to create the coding, familiarize yourself as much as possible with the data. That is a very important aspect. Okay, right? Yeah, this is one of the example in study. See, where safe sex, pregnancy, and sexual behavior, these are all minor categories or codings, which is related to sexual health and which is related to a theme called health issues of young people. And similarly, here some of the minor categories are coding related to smoking, alcohol, illicit drugs, related to a group of major categories of drugs. And this also comes under the theme of health issues for young people, right? The important aspect is how to develop these themes. You don't have to develop the themes. The themes will be automatically developed from the language or from the content given by the participants. Okay, right? So to conclude or to summarize the study or this qualitative research study, I have come to the last slide of this today's presentation. Yeah, we are almost close to 1 o'clock. So qualitative research is the process of collecting, analyzing, and interpreting a non-numerical data such as language or whatever, right? And what are the types? What are the types of, what are the study designs or what are the study designs adapted in qualitative research? I'm expecting the answers from the chat box, please. This is the last slide. After this, we'll be completing this presentation. We have a lot more things to actually discuss in qualitative research, but I have given you the very important basic points, or maybe I can say the bird's eye view of qualitative research, right? So what are the study designs under qualitative research? Phenomenology, ethnography, yes, please. Ethnography, phenomenology, case study, yes, yes. Thank you so much. Can anyone tell me or type what is phenomenology? The important keywords about phenomenology. See, if you are able to say some of the study designs, name the study designs in this end of this PowerPoint presentation, that itself is a very important, maybe I can say that's a success of this particular session, but it depends on the audience, right? If you are a faculty, you'll be able to assimilate at least something from this presentation. Individual experience in words. Yes, individual experience in words is phenomenology. Can anyone try? What is ethnography? What is ethnography? I'll just complete with the presentation. So phenomenology, please, if you want, you can just take the screenshot of this summary PowerPoint. This is very important slide, which is giving you the what to say, the juice of the entire presentation. So phenomenology is nothing but interpretation of people lived experiences, right? How they have come across their experience. When they come across their experience, what all they felt. It is phenomenology. Living with them is ethnography. Good, very nice answers. Writing about people and cultures, very good. Yes, thank you so much for the answers. So ethnography is in-depth understanding of complex socio-cultural aspects of a group of people by living with the group of people. That is very, very important, and also it's a time-consuming process. And grounded theory, where you develop a theoretical model based on the direct experience by the researcher and also from the participants' perspective, right? So I actually wanted to explain it much more about this grounded theory of our study. For want of time, I wanted to rush a little bit about our study. So case study is nothing but describing and illustrating about a person, about a case, event, or multiple event, or multiple group of people. That is case study, right? So data collection methods adapted in qualitative research is mostly in-depth interviews, observations, and focus group discussions. And we adapt purposeful sampling with less number of sample, usually ranges from 10 to 15 for in-depth interviews. Focus group discussion, we can have 6 to 12 people. We can have so many number of focus group discussions. Also, you need not stop with one or two focus group discussion. It all depends on the data saturation. Please understand this word, data saturation. When you are asking about the research question, till that time, if you are getting no new information about the data, that point is called a data saturation. And the data saturation point is a very important level to discuss or describe about your sample size, right? So thematic analytical approach, that is a very important analytical method which is being adapted here in qualitative research. So I hope the participants are able to assimilate a little bit about the qualitative research study design. I thank the management of Annapurna Medical College, and special thanks to Dr. Somasundram sir for inviting and giving me such a wonderful opportunity to deliver a lecture on qualitative health research. So now it's
Sir, thank you so much, sir. It's a very elaborative lecture on qualitative research, and you have given all the important area of interest in qualitative research. And we both, the community medicine faculty is also not aware of some of the terminologies, and we have highlighted everything in a shorter period of time. And it is very useful for all the faculties and the students who are going to study the qualitative research. And in a nutshell, we can say that qualitative research is Arunachalam Rajini and quantitative research is the Watsa Rajini. This is from your side of point of view.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And the majority of the time it will be used for qualitative research, used for generating the hypothesis by studying the socio-cultural phenomena. And quantitative research is mainly to testing the hypothesis by using the qualitative research studies. And one small doubt from that particular presentation, sir. Can I ask
Yes,
you?
sir.
So can we combine both the qualitative and quantitative research in a single study?
That's a very good question, sir. Thank you so much for raising this question. Actually, mixed method studies, we can very well mix up both qualitative and quantitative study design. That study designs are called as mixed study designs, right, sir?
Yes.
So the important thing is the mixed study design should give a better information or to explore better information when it is being combined. So the important aspect which is being done in mixed method studies and triangulation on பண்ணுவோம், sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
that's in depth about mixed method study. So to answer your question, mixed method studies can be done, which combines both qualitative as well as quantitative research studies.
Thank you so
Hope
much.
I have answered your questions.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Now I request our HOD, Dr. Somasundaram, sir, to chair the session.
Thank you, Dr. Bagin. And first of all, I thank for the chairman and dean and the vice principal and the MS medical superintendent and controller of examination and director of academics for giving these opportunities. And essentially thank for Dr. Balaji, MD, professor and HOD Community Medicine Department, Indira Medical College and Hospital, Tiruvallur district, for accepting and delivering a very good presentation and within a short time. I think all the audience will benefited from this program, and also he's narrated about what is the difference between qualitative and quantitative analysis and various study designs, various examples of qualitative research, and he narrating the characteristics of qualitative research in 3 levels, especially design level, data collection level, and analysis level. He is explaining very nicely, and 4 major types. He repeatedly insisting that ethnography, ground theory, case studies, and with various examples and various sampling methods. What are the sample size and sampling methods is explaining very clearly. And what are the various steps in quantitative data collection and data analysis also is making very simple thing to understand for the audience. I thank sincere thank for the Balaji sir for delivering a nice lecture. I will ask few questions. Sir, what is free listing?
Sir?
Free listing. What is free listing?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. We have 2 important method of data analysis, especially in focus group discussions. We have 2 things, sir. One is free listing and file sorting. Free listing is nothing but when you are asking a question to a group of people, right? They'll be listing about their experiences, and those listing of their experiences or about that particular gathering the data about particular information, you will be writing or you will be recording all those things as a list. So you will be asking, say for example, diabetic people. Suppose if you are suspecting that there is an increase in blood sugar, what you will do? This is the open-ended question, right? So they will be giving some list of things that they will do. So many people will say that, sir, I'll increase my walking, I'll reduce my sweets. So all these things they will be telling you, sir. So that listing of gathering the data from the group of people is called as free listing, which is also one of the important data collection method done in focus group discussions. So in the free list panna data gather data group பண்றதுக்கு பேர் தான் we call it as a file sorting. Thank you for raising this question, sir. This is also one of the important analytical method which is being adapted in thematic framework analysis, also especially in focus group discussions.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. What is historical research?
Yes, sir. I told you, no, sir, various study designs இருக்குன்னு சொன்னேன் இல்லையா? So similarly, historical research is also one of the types of qualitative research, where we gather the already documented past informations, how this past information affects the present and what will happen in future. And the process பேர் historical research. Say for example, ஒரு study design example சொல்லணும், ஒரு medical education. How this medical education or medical curriculum developed in our country, and what was the impact towards the present situation towards the medical graduates, and how it is going to evolve in future. This type of qualitative research is called as historical research, sir. Thank you for raising this question. This is also one of the study design under qualitative research. For want of time, I've reduced little bit of contents in study designs.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. What is ontology, sir?
Ontology, yes, ontology is one of the research methodological studies. Ontology and epistemology ரெண்டு விஷயம் இருக்கு சார். Ontology is nothing but relativism னு சொல்லுவோம். Relativism னா என்னன்னா, how the study participant experience closer to the reality. Say for example, சொல்லணும்னா உங்களுக்கு வந்து yes, women abuse, domestic violence related to women abuse. How the woman experiences the abuse or whatever may be the violence that is being happening in the house. Are closer to the nature, reality, how the participants perceives அப்படிங்கிறது வந்து relativism, which is also called as ontology. Epistemology இன்னொன்னு இருக்கு sir. Thank you for raising this question, sir. Epistemology is also one of the methodology coming into qualitative research, where epistemology என்ன பண்ணுவாங்கன்னா, how the researcher views the personal experience of the participant. That is epistemology. இதெல்லாமே வந்து little bit of என்ன சொல்றது சார், research methodological features, approaches adapted in qualitative research. Thank you, sir. It's a nice question, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for your explanation. I request the audience to send any doubts to the email ID for the speaker for further clarifications. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you,
Sign
sir.
off, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir, for once again highlighting the importance of qualitative research in research methodology. Now I request Dr. Priyadarshini to deliver the word of thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Ibrahim. Good afternoon to one and all. At the outset, on behalf of Community Medicine Department, I'd like to express our profound gratitude to our chairman, vice chairman for giving permission to organizing this webinar session. I'd like to thank our guest speaker, Dr. Balaji, for sharing his knowledge on the topic qualitative research methods. Today's webinar was full of knowledge and interesting things. I'm pretty sure the precious knowledge that Balaji gave us will definitely help us in our studies and future. Thank you so much, sir. I'd also like to thank our Dean, Vice Principal, Medical Superintendent, Deputy Medical Superintendent, Controller of Examination, and Medical Director for their moral support and guidance. A special thanks to the teaching and non-teaching staffs for their unflinching support and coordination. I thank the computer team, without whose helping hand this event wouldn't have been possible. Once again, I thank all for your cordial cooperation. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Priyadarshini. And
Thank you, sir.
now
Bye,
Thank you.
we come to the end of the
Bye,
session.
madam. Bye,
And
sir.
I request all of you to rise for the national anthem.
Thank you.